Welcome back to Statistics Made Simple, and I am Savita Balsang. In this video, I'll explain large sample tests where the sample size n is greater than or equal to 30. Under these tests, the first test we are going to learn is test for single mean, and I'll be explaining the procedure for this method. Let me first explain what are large sample tests. The tests based on large samples, that means when n is greater than or equal to 30, are called as large sample tests. These tests are based on the normal distribution since the sampling distributions of large samples approaches normal distribution. I will now explain what are the steps present in a test procedure. It is very important that you remember all these steps. So, the first step is to set up the null hypothesis, which is denoted by H naught. Step 2 is to set up the alternative hypothesis, which is denoted by H1. Now, the alternative hypothesis will enable us to decide whether to use two-tailed tests or one-tailed tests, that is right or left-tailed tests. Now, how will we know which alternative hypothesis to use? So, we are aware that there are three types of alternative hypothesis, that is a two-tailed alternative, then we have the right-tailed alternative and left-tailed alternatives. So, if words like more, above, increase, sometimes even the word like superior are used in the problem, then the alternative is right-tailed. If words like less, below, decrease, inferior are used in the problem, then the alternative is left-tailed. If no such words are occurring in the problem, then the alternative which we are going to use is two-tailed. Step 3 is the computation of the test statistic. The test statistic formula will change for every test which we are going to learn. And under H naught, the general format of the test statistic is Z equal to relevant statistic minus hypothetical value divided by the denominator has the standard error, which follows normal 0, 1. So, under large sample tests, we will see that all the test statistics will be of the standard normal variate form. That is, on the left hand side, we will always have Z, but the right hand side expression is going to change. But this expression will follow normal 0, 1. And keep in mind that the denominator of the test statistic always gives us the standard error. So it's important to remember this because we get 2-mark problems based on the standard error, and the standard error keeps changing for every test statistic which we are going to learn. Now, the fourth step is depending on H1 and alpha, the critical value or the table value is chosen from the table given below. These 6 values are easy to remember. If you can't remember these values, you will obtain these values from the statistical tables. But I suggest that you memorize all these 6 values as they are very simple. So let me now explain the critical value table. In the first column, I have alpha, which is 5%, and then I also have alpha as 1%. Then I have the two-tailed test. Two-tailed test means the alternative will be of the form not equal to. And the critical value, which I have explained earlier, is denoted by K alpha by 2. You know that one-tailed tests are of two types, that is a left-tailed test and the right-tailed test. And for a left-tailed test, the alternative will have the less than symbol, and for a right-tailed test, the alternative will have the greater than symbol. And the critical value for the left-tailed test is minus k alpha, whereas for a right-tailed test, the critical value is denoted by k alpha. And when alpha is 5%, the critical values are 1.96, minus 1.65, 1.65. And when alpha is 1%, the critical values are 2.58, minus 2.33, and 2.33. Now, usually the value of alpha will be mentioned in the problem. If it is not mentioned, then it is considered to be as 5%. I will now explain the test procedure for test for single mean. Now, along with the problems, the procedure itself can be asked as a 5-marker. Please understand the notations and the terminology. That is very important. So, let us consider a population of size capital N. Suppose a sample of size small n is drawn from the population, then we know that this sample mean. Remember that this sample mean is a statistic and it is denoted by x bar equal to summation x divided by small n. And the sample variance again is a statistic and you know it is denoted by small s square. And using the simplified formula of the variance which we have learnt in the first year, it is s square equal to summation x square by n minus summation x by n the whole square. Now we have to set up the null hypothesis. So here the null hypothesis is of the form H naught. The population mean is mu naught. That is, so the word population mean which is highlighted in blue color is nothing but mu, and we are saying that is equal to mu naught. So mu naught value will be given to us in the problem. So please remember the general format of H naught for test for single mean for large samples is H naught. The population mean is mu naught, that is mu is equal to mu naught. So based on the problem, we will replace mu naught by the value which is given versus any one of the following alternatives. So H1 can be mu not equal to mu naught. Second is H1 mu is greater than mu naught, and third is H1 mu is less than mu naught. Please don't change the sequence of the alternative hypothesis. The first one is always of the form not equal to, second is greater than, and third is less than. This I am mentioning because the conclusions are based on whether an alternative is two-tailed, right-tailed or left-tailed. If you remember the conclusions for one of the tests under large samples, it remains the same for all the others. So we have set up the null hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis. Now we have to mention what is the test statistic. So the sentence which we write is under H naught. The test statistic is Z equal to x bar minus mu naught divided by sigma by root n, which follows normal 0, 1. Now please observe very carefully that capital Z stands for the standard normal variate, small x bar is the sample mean, mu naught is a specific value of the population mean, and sigma is the population standard deviation, n is the size of the sample, and this follows normal 0, 1. Now observe the denominator of this test statistic, which is sigma by root n, and this is nothing but the standard error. Now in many cases sigma will be unknown and it won't be given to us in the problem. In that case we have to replace sigma by small s, and in that case the formula is going to change to z equal to x bar minus mu naught divided by s by root n, which follows normal 0, 1. Here I would like to mention that though the answer for z will be the same whether we use sigma or s, a mark will be deducted if you don't identify whether it is sigma or whether it is s, because it means that you haven't understood the basic concept or the basic notations which are used in statistical inference chapter. So we need to identify the terms very carefully in a given problem. Now the last step is to write the conclusion. Now there will be three types of conclusion. Okay, the conclusions will depend on whether the alternative is two-tailed or whether it is right-tailed or it is left-tailed. So the conclusions are numbered as 1, 2, 3, and the first conclusion is for the first alternative, that is mu is not equal to mu naught. So here the conclusion which we have to use is if modulus of z is greater than or equal to k alpha by 2 at alpha level of significance, we reject h naught, otherwise we accept h naught. Otherwise means if mod z is less than k alpha by 2, then we will accept h naught. Now the conclusion for a right tail test is if z is greater than or equal to k alpha, at alpha level of significance we reject h naught, otherwise we accept h naught. And the third conclusion is for a left tail test. You have to check if the value of z which you calculate is less than or equal to minus k alpha at alpha level of significance, then we reject h naught, otherwise we accept h naught. So the three conclusions are very important, and remember that for a particular problem you will have only one h naught, one h1, which can be either two-tailed, right-tailed or left-tailed, and then you will have the test statistic, and then you will have the conclusion which depends on whether the alternative is two-tailed, right-tailed or left-tailed. What I'm going to explain now are important 1 and 2 markers. So please note that the mean of the sample mean. Now let us first understand the sentence, the mean of the sample mean. So the mean here is expectation, and the sample mean is denoted by x bar. So in terms of notations, it is E of x bar is equal to mu. The second note, the standard error of the sample mean is, so the standard error is denoted by SE. The sample mean means within brackets write x bar, and this is equal to sigma by root n. So recollect that what expression comes in the denominator of the test statistic is the standard error. So SE of x bar is equal to sigma by root n. And if sigma is not known, then you have to replace it by S, and the formula is SE of x bar is equal to S by root n. Now the last part is how do you identify that the given problem is based on test for single mean for large samples. This is very important to understand because you'll be learning several tests and all the problems will look very similar. So I am giving certain hints which will help you to identify to which test the problem belongs to. So now here the first step is to find out the value of n. Check the value of n in the given problem. If n is greater than or equal to 30 and the problem is based on only one sample which is drawn from a population, then it falls in the category of large sample tests. Next, look out for the words like mean, average, variance, standard deviation. Next is we should be able to obtain 4 values from the problem. So, if you know that the words like mean, average, variance, standard deviation are present in a problem and you have the problem based on only one sample and a sample size n is greater than or equal to 30, then you will know that the formula for the test statistic is z equal to x bar minus mu naught divided by sigma by root n, or z is equal to x bar minus mu naught divided by s by root n. So the four values which you're supposed to get from the problem are n, x bar, mu naught. These are for sure. Then you need one more value. That one more value can be either sigma square, or it can be sigma, or it can be s square, or it can be s. So totally you should get four values from the problem. I'm leaving out the alpha value, but these four values, that is n, x bar, mu naught, then either sigma square, sigma, or s square or s should be given. So in this video, I have explained the general test procedure for large sample tests, and in particular, I have explained the test procedure for test for single mean for large samples. This is a very important topic where you may get close to 7 marks, where you will have a 5-mark problem, and you can also get a 1 and 2 marker based on the mean and standard error. So learn and practice all the steps thoroughly. Thank you all for watching, and in my next video we'll find solutions to problems based on test for single mean.